in this rivalry actually played in the game. They're adding a little spice and flavor, but more importantly, they know exactly what their team is about to go through.
They absolutely do. Thank you, Holly. Jon Scheyer, as Holly mentioned, a terrific player. Both of these guys, terrific players back in the day. Jon Scheyer's first year as head coach of the Blue Devils, so his first game as the head coach against North Carolina. Hubert Davis, of course, coached in 3 of these last year, won 2 of them, including in the national semifinals. A very young Duke team. Jeremy Roach, the only Blue Devil, Jay, who has played meaningful minutes in this rivalry. Jalen Blake's played a few minutes last year. A much more experienced North Carolina team, as we are now ready for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. And not surprisingly at all, the atmosphere is great, just as it will be in Chapel Hill a month from now. Roger Ayers, Bert Smith, A.J. Desai are the officials, and the Tar Heels with the opening tip.
Derek Lively the second, starting out on Armando Bacot, and you know that Carolina wants to play inside out early.
Carolina coming off a 1-point loss on Wednesday against Pitt. Duke coming off a 2-point win Tuesday over Wake. Davis with a miss, and the long rebound out to Roach. Boy, Roach aggressively puts it up, comes up empty, and it's out of bounds to Carolina. As tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Degree. And again, a very experienced Carolina team. Davis, Love, Leaky Black, Armando Bacot, all with a ton of experience in this rivalry. And Pete Nance, a grad transfer from Northwestern. Of course, a much younger Duke team with all kinds of freshmen on the floor, along with Jeremy Roach.
One-on-one in the post now. Here comes the double to try to get the ball out of the hands of Bacot.
Caleb Love has played 2 very good games in this building. 25 as a freshman, 22 as a sophomore, and Carolina won them both. They have won the last 2 times they've come to Cameron.
And remember, he had 28 in that huge game in the Final Four and was unstoppable in the second half.
A little strong for Tyrese Proctor, kicked back out by Mark Mitchell.
Duke wants to move the ball from side to side, get some ball reversals, and then attack.
Proctor attacks. It rolls off the back of the iron to Bacot. Already North Carolina's all-time leading rebounder, still with a bunch of games to go. R.J. Davis off a screen. Over Derek Lively. Lively got a piece, but Bacot there to clean it up.
Boy, what a smart play by R.J. Davis to knock the ball. After it got blocked, he had the presence of mind to knock the ball to Bacot. And R.J. Davis has been struggling his last 2. 1 of 10 from three-point range, averaging about 8.5 points per game. And Gang on the defensive boards.
Good matchup, Love and the freshman Tyrese Proctor. Love again. Now 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. The rebound to Roach.
Caleb Love settled right there. He needs to get to the free throw line more. With his athleticism, he is a downhill driver, but he's not shooting near as many free throws this year as he did last year. Carolina going under those screens.
Roach with the elbow jumper, and Duke on the board.
And that's going to be available when North Carolina's in drop coverage on ball screens. That mid-range jump shot, especially for Jeremy Roach, is going to be a good shot.
Davis frees himself up, and he knocks it down. As you mentioned, struggled his last time out, just 3 for 15 against Pitt. Hubert Davis hoping that a few more days of practice shake the rust off, getting a little further away from the eye injury, and that R.J. Davis will be back to his normal self here tonight.
Well, his normal self is one of the best guards in the country and one of the best free throw shooters you're going to see.
Derek Lively launches a 3 and comes up empty. A good start here for Carolina with an early 5-point lead. Bacot into the chest of Lively, who got a piece of it. Shot clock does not reset. Bacot again into the chest of Lively, and again he altered the shot.
Already the game physical inside, but Lively holding his ground. One of the best shot blockers in the country.
Proctor. Boy, and a couple of Blue Devils had a hand on it, but couldn't knock it down. Love, nice shovel pass. Bacot couldn't handle it. Roach for three.
Bacot just couldn't grab that little pass, the drop off. But that's a good shot in transition. Years ago, you wanted to get all the way to the basket, but a pull-up three in transition is a great opportunity.
Good pace and a long stretch without a whistle here in this one. Steal by Proctor. Filipowski will lay it in to tie the game.
Carolina a little too casual on that dribble handoff. Tyrese Proctor, who's a very good defender. He is long-armed and athletic and really starting to come on.
Love with a crossover. Kicks it back out. Leaky Black. Pete Nance. And it'll be Carolina ball when we come back. A frenetic pace, Jay, to start this one between Carolina and Duke.
Just what we expected. A physical contest where the glass is going to be the key. But Caleb Love, just a little step back three from deep. And then a fantastic play by R.J. Davis to tip the ball after the block shot. And then Jeremy Roach, he is really starting to come on for Duke, and they need him to be the man in this one.
Presentation of college basketball is presented by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Run with us. This is the Blue Devils' lair here deep below ground level, a few levels down here at the Cameron Indoor Stadium. Have you ever been down there?
I have not been down there. I have not done much mascot work in my career.
Although you have been in several lairs before, I believe, in your time. But he's got all kinds of different signs and sayings, and obviously when Carolina comes to town more than any other program, they're going to hear it from the fans here at the Cameron. Two unranked teams. They were both unranked in both games 2 years ago. Those two games and this game, Jay, the only three times in the last 60-plus seasons that both have been unranked in this game. But you know what? If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know any better walking in. This feels like every other Carolina Duke that we've always done, which means there's a lot on the line here tonight.
Already, Derek Lively II has been a presence in this game with his shot blocking. He was rolling to the rim. They just couldn't complete the pass. But with Lively in the game, Duke's field goal percentage defense at the rim is 15% better.
He has 3 block shots already in this game. He averages 2 a game, and that's not in a ton of minutes. His play has really picked up the last few weeks, and we'll say it for the second time tonight. R.J. Davis looks like his normal self.
Yeah, he's back. And that mid-range jump shot, because of the drop coverage that Duke plays, is going to be there all night. Unless there's an adjustment with a hard hedge or a flat hedge.
Davis averaging 16. Tar Heels averaging better than 16 and 18 per game, along with Love and Bacot.
Carolina able to play with their heels on the three-point line. They're not concerned with three-point shots. They want to protect the paint.
Turnaround won't go for Kyle Filipowski, who comes in here on a tear with 5 double-doubles in his last 6 games.
There's that middle ball screen and roll.
Love into Bacot, and he got fouled.
In the middle of the floor, it is so difficult to pick up Bacot as the roll man. He sets that screen and then immediately rolls to the basket. So if Derek Lively is going to try to impact the ball at all, he goes to it and stays with it too long. And because R.J. Davis adjusted up, his man can't get in there and tag and get in front of Armando Bacot when he rolls. The middle of the floor, that middle third, is going to be where Carolina attacks with that ball screen.
Bacot having another great season, averaging almost 18 points per game, better than 11 rebounds per game. Subs for Duke, including the grad transfer Ryan Young, another Northwestern guy. So Pete Nance and a Ryan Young team, 4 years at Northwestern, and now they're on opposite sides of this rivalry.
And Armando Bacot spends a lot of time right here at the free throw line. He shoots about 8 free throws per game. and Carolina makes about 18 on average. So playing against North Carolina, you have to play good physical defense without fouling, or they're going to spend a lot of time at the line.
Proctor bringing it up for Duke. When Roach missed those 4 games with a toe injury, Proctor assumed more of the ball handling responsibilities, and now Jon Scheyer feels like he's got 2 equally capable quarterbacks out there on the court. Roach with a strong move, but he can't finish it. Young with the offensive rebound, and then Love is called for the travel.
Boy, Ryan Young just has a knack for offensive rebounding. He reads where the ball's coming off, and if he doesn't have an immediate stick back, he looks to try to get it back out for an open 3-point shot.
Yeah, you always say about a guy like Young, he's not an above the rim guy, but boy is he good below the rim. He is a terrific rebounder.
R.J. Davis staying right with Jeremy Roach. He is not going to help off.
Out of bounds, and it'll be Carolina ball, and Bacot shaking his head as if to say to Young, you can't do that to me.
And one of the things North Carolina is doing on Tyrese Proctor, they're going underneath screens. They're not as concerned about him hitting a 3. They want to make sure he stays out of the paint. A little double drag up top, roll, pop.
Davis for 3. Rebound, Leaky Black. And back comes Duke. Both teams missing some opportunities around the rim. Roach, yes.
Well, Jeremy Roach has been aggressive in transition. And when Duke's been able to secure a defensive rebound, they've had a couple opportunities in transition to run. There's that zoom action, and Roach staying right with Caleb Love, taking away that handoff option.
Davis turns the corner. Bacot lays it in.
Armando Bacot so good at setting a ball screen, wing or side, and rolling right to the basket and presenting himself. You stay with the ball too long, and they just drop it off to him.
5 field goals for Carolina, Jay. R.J. Davis has scored 2 of them and assisted on the other 3. Grandison off to Young. Pretty 2-man basketball.
Boy, beautiful pass. Bacot had to step up to stop the Grandison drive, and a beautiful pocket pass to Ryan Young. That's beautiful basketball.
Getting a little physical between Nance and Filipowski. Love with a sweet bounce pass and another bucket for Bacot.
Right now, Carolina's able to attack the paint, and that's what Duke really wants to prevent. They want to protect the paint, make Carolina score over the top of them, and right now Carolina's been able to turn corners. You turn corners, you draw help, and then play off it.
Another touch for Young, defended by Bacot.
Really good at pivoting.
Grandison for 3. Rebound Black.
And North Carolina can close out short and be a little bit late to those shots. They just want to stop drives first and foremost.
Bacot spinning on Young. Draws a crowd. Finds a wide open Nance. Young the rebound.
Not going to get a better shot. Really good pass by Armando Bacot out of the double.
Again, a long stretch without a whistle, and now as soon as we say that, we've got one. And a timeout on the floor. Carolina with a 4-point lead.
Welcome to the film room with Duke head coach Jon Scheyer. And coach, we're going to look at your offense here. You're going to get Jeremy Roach into what you call floppy action, where he's got a decision to make. Which side does he come out on?
And we give him the option here, which way to go. Mitchell clears out, and when we can get him downhill, that's best. But still, we do a great job when we have a chance to hit the post, not just to score, but also to make reads and get cuts. And we call this a Diallo move right here, where Ryan just goes right at Tyrese. We get some good things that can happen. And then all the time we work on, with our guards, reading what the defender does. Here, Hildreth goes under, and this is an automatic shot for our guards. Anytime we shoot, we want our 3, 4s, and 5s crashing the boards.
Ryan Young gets the offensive rebound here. If he doesn't you want the immediate stick back if he has it, but if he doesn't have it, what do you want?
We want relocation 3s, and for us, this has been a staple of Duke basketball for a long time. You get this offensive rebound, relocate, and me and you were talking about it, but the percentage that our players shoot off an offensive rebound seems to be a much higher percentage from a normal 3.
Thanks to Coach Scheyer. That's the film room.
Like the film room, you did this with Rick Barnes in Knoxville a couple of weeks ago. For Duke, or for any team for that matter, Jay, how much of the offense are set plays, and then how much are, hey, read and react to what you're seeing and go make a play?
A little bit of both. Duke has a number of set plays on its menu. They like to get down in transition and just flow into offense, but they've got a number of sets that they run and then counters. Great shot fake by Filipowski. And that allowed him to get right into the paint to Jalen Washington, who made a great move on the other end. It's nice to see Washington back. When Armando Bacot got hurt against Virginia, went out of the game, Washington came in, and that shot fake just opened up the lane. But Washington came in, and he wound up having 13 points and 6 rebounds, was taking off, and then he injured his ankle again against Boston College. But he is a special talent. And you saw when he caught the ball on the other end, he just gives a little inside pivot to face up, and he can make that 15-foot jumper. And I think he's got the ability, maybe not in this game tonight, but he's going to be able to stretch it out to 3. Yep. Jalen Washington is a special talent, and he's going to be a ridiculously good player.
Young out, Lively back in, Filipowski at the line. He leads the team in scoring, rebounding, and steals. The 7-time ACC Rookie of the Week so far this season, and the only freshman in the country averaging better than 15 and 9 on the season.
And you really have to sit on his right hand. He is a right driver first. He can go left, but you'd rather have him go left than right.
Sneaky pass from Love into Nance, and a block is called on Filipowski. His first.
Usually when Nance drives the ball, he likes to drive middle. And this time more to the baseline side, but a spin back to the middle.
Filipowski to the bench. Nance has scored 34 points in Carolina's last 2 games, and Hubert Davis has talked to him about being aggressive, and he said Nance was a little worried early about stepping on some toes, this veteran group that made it all the way to the national championship game a year ago, and Hubert keeps telling him there are no toes. Don't worry about the toes. Go be aggressive.
Oh, when he first got to North Carolina, Hubert Davis told him, hey man, I want you to be a dude. Like, don't defer just because you haven't been there. I've been here. And when Nance is aggressive, I mean, he can shoot it. He's not quite the Brady Manek shooter that's really going to stretch the floor and make 7 threes in a game like Manek could in any given game. And he's not the rebounder that Manek was, but he's a good player.
Carolina fans also happy to see Puff Johnson back in the game. That'll be a goaltending call on Lively. Johnson missing the last 3 with a knee injury. Count that basket for R.J. Davis, who's having himself a good first half.
You can really tell how Carolina has been resolute to drive the ball. You know, they're putting Duke in positions where they're having to help and rotate, and Carolina can play out of it rather than settling for jump shots. And I think this is when Carolina looks the best, is when they're aggressive getting into the paint.
Proctor's soft touch on the floater to get Duke back within 5.
Tyrese Proctor has really changed this Duke team, taking over as the primary point guard. Last 5 games, he's averaging 12 points and 4 assists. He's an excellent defender. And he leads Duke in assists, and he's going to be a really good player.
Boy, another good pass from Love, but another rejection for Lively, and Proctor down with the board.
Duke has numbers.
Grandison in transition. Count the basket and a foul.
When Duke is able to grab a defensive rebound, they have gotten outlet passes, and they are running. Thus far, the transition advantage has gone Duke's way. An excellent pass ahead to Jacob Grandison. R.J. Davis not in position to take the charge, just got clipped on the side, and Grandison able to finish the play while he's on his back.
And Jay, that's a big call. That is number 2 on R.J. Davis with 8:45 to go in the half. He sits. Freshman Seth Trimble is into the game for the first time now for the Heels.
Seth Trimble is a great driver, very athletic, and an outstanding on-ball defender, but he does not stretch the floor. He's only made 1 3 on the season. So you're going to be able to help off of him and sag off of him.
Washington baseline on Lively. Out of bounds off Roach. So Davis has to sit. Bacot is on the bench right now. So you wonder if Love feels, hey, I got to take it upon myself a little bit more to do the scoring, or if they still have some other options out there.
I'm not sure his mindset ever changes from I'm going to do some scoring. He's a scoring guard. But the question is, what kind of shots will he take? And if he continues first and foremost to be a driver and then take the perimeter shots when they're there, I think Caleb Love is at his absolute best. You know, people talk about his shot selection, and that's fair, rightfully so. But how do you balance, you know, tell him to take certain shots, but he can make difficult ones,
yes,
as evidenced by the Final Four last year when he made about as difficult a shot as you're going to make.
Huge three in the last minute, 3 of the 28 he had to send Carolina into the championship game. It's feisty and it's fun so far here at Cameron. Proctor in his first game in this rivalry with a floater. Carolina up 2 on Duke.
Love hands off to Bacot for the two-handed hammer, and in his final game in Cameron, Coach K takes an L.
Love, 3, top of the key. Oh, he got it! And the heels end the career of the Hall of Fame coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Well, 2 moments that are certainly making Carolina fans smile right now as we take a look at tonight's Sonic blockbuster. In the last 100 games, they're 50-50. In the last 111, Carolina is up by 1, and that won the win of the national semifinal last night when that guy, Caleb Love, had 28. And once again, Jay, the 3rd time he's come into this building in his career, and the 3rd time he is playing well.
Well, and he's doing it a little bit differently in this game from some games he's played recently. Gets his shoulders and his torso past the defender. Jalen Blakes took the bump. And how much better is Caleb Love when he's aggressive getting into the paint? He's such a strong, athletic guard. And he should be making a living at the free throw line.
5 career games against the Blue Devils, better than 20 points per game for Love coming into this one.
Good defensive matchup here with Seth Trimble guarding Jeremy Roach. It seems like Seth Trimble was born in a stance. So explosive and such a good on-ball defender.
And he may get some good minutes here with R.J. Davis on the bench with 2. Roach tries it again. Kicks to Grandison in the corner. Got to get a shot off. And a shot clock violation. It gives it back to Carolina.
Give credit there to the freshman Seth Trimble. You know, we talked, he's not the offensive player yet that he can be. But defensively, you don't see many freshmen guard the ball like Seth Trimble.
And he'll bring it up to take Love off the ball, at least for now. Bacot has returned for the Heels. Filipowski has returned for the Blue Devils. Another ball screen for Love, and another good look. Puff Johnson for 3.
Boy, what a difference maker Puff Johnson can be, because he can stretch the floor. He missed his last 3 games with a knee. He had 12 points against Louisville, 11 points against Notre Dame. He was a huge lift to North Carolina in the national championship game against Kansas. This gives them another offensive threat on the floor that you have to guard on the perimeter.
Blake's being hounded by Love. Filipowski will answer with a 3 of his own.
Well, Jalen Washington not used to guarding that far out on the floor, and it's almost like Filipowski either knew it or could feel it. Little horns action out top for North Carolina. Duke going under on Seth Trimble. They're going to invite him to shoot that 3.
Washington with a corner 3. Mitchell to save, and he finds Blakes. Great play. Blake still playing with that Batman mask. Broke his nose in practice January the 17th.
He looks like a superhero. How much better are the masks now when you break your nose?
And Filipowski stepped out of bounds.
North Carolina getting some ball screen action, and then a great throwback on the shake action. Just terrific job and a terrific pass, and then a nice little jab step just got Jalen Washington back up a bit. And Filipowski, he can really shoot it.
Yep, Nance a little indecisive there between putting the ball down and passing it, and he ends up turning it over.
Well, I don't think he expected Jeremy Roach to be in the passing lane. He got in between the ball and Seth Trimble, and that, as much as anything, caused the walk.
2 coaches who played in this rivalry, each of them between their playing careers, being an assistant coach and now tonight, has been in more than 30 Carolina Duke games. Rebound Nance. So Jon Scheyer, Hubert Davis know all about this rivalry.
Thus far, North Carolina doing a pretty good job on the defensive glass.
And Duke, statistically the second best offensive rebounding team in the nation. They get better than 38% of their misses.
Good throwback.
Wide open three. Filipowski too strong.
That's one area Duke has not been able to consistently knock down perimeter shots this season. Boy, what a bad pass. There was nowhere for Bacot to go once he caught it.
Mitchell.
Well, he went right into the chin of Puff Johnson. And he led into his chin. And just a strong drive by Mark Mitchell. Watch this here. Boom.
Johnson got the worst of that. He's okay. Mitchell at the line for a couple, averaging about 9 points, 4 rebounds per game. Good wing defender as each coach sends in a couple of subs. And for Hubert Davis, our first look at DeMarco Dunn, a 6'5" sophomore from Tucson, Arizona.
You know, it's funny when that kind of thing happens, and who knows, they probably wouldn't have called that anything. It would have just been a basketball play. But if you tough it out and just get up, the officials don't go to the monitor. You know, if you hold your jaw, maybe you got a chance they'll take a look at it.
Yep. Carolina shooting 42%. Duke just 35%. Carolina leading by 3. They're both 7 and 4 in league play. They are tied for 6th in the ACC. But again, the top 2 teams in the league, Clemson and Virginia, in the league standings, both lost today. So whoever wins this one, just 1 game out in the loss column and a game and a half out for the league lead. Dunn kept it alive, but it bounces free to Proctor. Going all the way.
Another transition basket for Duke. When they get a defensive rebound, they have been shot out of a cannon. And Tyrese Proctor forced the Carolina defense to stop the ball. Nobody did. They were trailing him. And he winds up getting the easy transition bucket.
And that's got the building rocking again here as Duke is back within 1. Look at the difference in the fast break points. 13-0.
Well, traditional. But Duke has been scoring most of its points in transition ahead of the Carolina defense.
Dunn into the paint. Lost it. Got it back. Bacot the rebound.
Might as well have been a pass. Bacot's such a great offensive rebounder.
Remember, no R.J. Davis, still on the bench with 2. Long 3 for Love, and Duke can take the lead.
And that's the kind of shot where you say, Caleb Love, what are you thinking there? You know, he's had such success getting into the lane. He can make that shot, but at that point in the clock, it wasn't necessary.
Roach. And yet another rebound for Bacot. That'll be his 6th.
A drag screen in transition. Good throw.
The pull-up by Leaky Black is short.
And that's not the shot that Carolina wants. Leads to a run out.
Mitchell to Roach, and Duke has the lead.
North Carolina's offense has not helped its defense. Some of the shots that the Tar Heels have been taking have led to runouts, where Duke is able to play ahead of the Carolina defense. And in the full court, fast break points, it has been all Duke in Cameron Indoor Stadium.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Sonic Steak and Bacon Grilled Cheese, for a limited time only at Sonic. Some of the scenes from College Game Day this morning here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Always a great venue for the morning show. The Jeep halftime report is coming up shortly. Holly will preview it with Stephen Fons.
Okay, Fons, you like Derek Lively's impact so far in this game. What's he doing well?
Well, I love what he's doing. He's blocking and altering shots. They've got to get Armando Bacot involved in offense, but they got to get him on the move. Derek Lively's too tall for him to try to shoot straight over.
That's right, just 8 points for Armando. And Seth, what do you think they've got to do better for Carolina?
When R.J. Davis went out, shot selection obviously was impacted. When the shot selection's impacted, your defensive transition is compromised. Duke's doing a great job of pushing off of misses. And when Carolina gets in lane, they're not covering the backcourt. They're getting crushed in defensive transition.
All right, see you at the half, guys.
Thank you, Holly. You saw R.J. Davis is back into the game. Jay sat for almost 5 minutes with those 2 fouls. Hubert Davis looking for a bit of a spark here towards the end of the first half.
And R.J. Davis 3 of 6 from the field when he went out. And he is such a good ball handler, passer. Good pass by Armando Bacot.
And Black with a bucket. Bacot the assist.
And that's one of the reasons Armando Bacot needs to touch the ball more. When North Carolina plays inside out, I think their offense much more effective.
Derek Lively, by the way, with 4 blocks in the first half for Duke. Filipowski driving on Nance, and a foul.
Filipowski just went right into the chest of Pete Nance to draw that foul. And then Bacot looks middle to see if the double's coming. It wasn't, and just shot that pass right across court, right past the outstretched arms of Mark Mitchell for an easy basket for Leaky Black. Just a really good pass for Armando Bacot. But I think that's the way North Carolina needs to play. Inside out, continue to attack the paint, draw help, and then kick it out to open shooters that can knock down an open shot or shot fake and drive the closeout.
Filipowski, the freshman, one of 20 Wooden late season candidates for the Wooden Award. There are 4 in the ACC. Armando Bacot is another one. The other 2 of the ACC, Isaiah Wong from Miami, Terquavion Smith from NC State.
And Filipowski has been so consistent at a high level. His last 3, he's averaging over 21 a game, 9 rebounds, shooting 50% from the floor.
Black to the elbow. Nance kicks to Davis. And the weak side follow for Bacot for 2 more.
But that was really good offense because Carolina got it from one side of the floor to the other, made the defense move, and that's when Armando Bacot's even more difficult to box out.
And look at the numbers, 10 and 7 already for Bacot. Filipowski getting more aggressive, but he can't finish it. Black from the corner. And it rattles out. Leaky Black started off the season shooting the 3 very well. 13 of his first 33, about 40%. 2 for his last 20. Coming in as Proctor puts Duke back on top.
Boy, Tyrese Proctor is really starting to blossom. He should still be in high school. Duke got him to come a year early out of Australia. He played at the NBA Academy. And he is a future NBA player. Good drive.
And the finish for Black just blew right by Mitchell.
Everybody was up near the free throw line. Carolina lifted up their offense, and there was no weak side help. And just a great drive by Leaky Black. You mentioned that 2 for 20. When he's that wide open in the corner's his spot. He still has to take that shot.
Proctor again. What a game he's having. Boy, his expression never changes, Jay. He looks like the coolest cat in the building, doesn't he?
He's played a lot of high-level basketball in his young career, but he's really starting to come on, and that frees up Jeremy Roach. He doesn't have to take over ball handling responsibilities, and he can just think about scoring coming off screens.
Bacot spins on Filipowski, and it goes. 2 more for Armando Bacot.
Anytime Armando Bacot gets the ball in the left block, he's going to look to spin toward the baseline. And then he spun back, and that's a difficult shot that he made.
Bacot takes it away, and Carolina can take the lead in the final minute of the half.
Or just a lazy pass. Bacot able to step in front and knock that away. A little horns action up top. They can throw back.
Dunn getting some minutes. Love's been on the bench for a few minutes for Carolina. Nance with a step back blocked by Filipowski.
And he got hit going up, and the officials didn't call it. Hubert Davis is incensed.
And Jon Scheyer will use a timeout to try to set up for the final shot of a very entertaining first half.
Hubert Davis during the timeout was laying into one of the officials. Pete Nance going up for a shot. There's no question that as he was coming up, he was fouled. And Hubert did not like it at all, and he wasn't alone on that Carolina bench.
Well, that's about as angry as you will ever see Hubert Davis. And he is still talking with Bert Smith, one of the officials, about the non-call. Duke with a 1-point lead and the ball with 21.8 seconds to go in the first half here at Cameron. Caleb Love has returned for Carolina. R.J. Davis sits. Remember, he's got the 2 fouls, so they don't want him in here right now on defense. Boy, Proctor's had a nice half.
Duke wants to go with about 8 on the clock. That gives them an option for an offensive rebound, but not Carolina the chance to take it the other way.
Proctor to Grandison. He'll get a good look at a 3. And that'll do it in the first half here in Durham. And we have a foul called, I believe. Bert Smith has called a foul, and they're going to look and see if the foul was called before time expired.
It really doesn't matter. They can look and see, but it's not free throws. Duke only had 4 team fouls, so it won't result in a 1-and-1.
So it would go on Roach if indeed it was called, but as Jay said, no free throws. It would just be a personal foul on Roach. But again, this theoretically there might be some time put back on the clock.
Maybe 0.2 or 0.3, but it won't be very much.
Bert Smith and Roger Ayers looking it over.
I still want to know, do our ratings go up with as much television as the officials watch in these games?
You're just campaigning for more face time for you. You always tell me ratings go up when they put you on camera.
The moneymaker, baby.
Well, I think we expected a close one, Jay, and we're getting a close one. These two teams, listen, Carolina was #1 in the country preseason. Duke was #7. You know, neither program has probably had the kind of 3 months or so that they wanted to have, but there's a lot of upside for both of these teams going forward.
No question. And for North Carolina at halftime, you know that they're going to be talking about defensive transition. And we mentioned earlier in the game, Carolina's, this goes for both Duke and North Carolina, your offense has to help your defense. You know, you take a bad shot, you're out of balance, and all of a sudden you allow a run out. And in the first half, it has been all Duke in transition. You know, the fast break points 16-0 in favor of Duke.
The foul is on Roach and 0.2 of a second on the clock. So Carolina inbounds, and now it's halftime with Duke leading by 1, 33-32. Jeremy Roach leading the way for Duke with 10. Armando Bacot 12 and 7 at the break for Carolina. Holly Rose with Jon Scheyer.
Well, Coach, a lot of your players are young in this rivalry, experiencing it for the first time. How do you like their composure and poise in the first half?
Yeah, I love what they did. I thought it took us a few minutes to settle in, and once we did that, we played a good 20 minutes. We didn't come here just play 20 more to go.
You talked about the importance of rim protection against North Carolina. How has Derek Lively and some of your bigs really helped you with that?
Yeah, Derek's battling. You know, they got a couple late, and that's what Bacot does. But we've been battling, and if we can clean some of those up, I like where we're at.
Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thank you, Holly.
Holly, thank you. 1-point lead for Duke at the break. Coming up after this break, the Jeep halftime report. Reese Davis, LaFonso Ellis, Seth Greenberg talking this game at what's been a very interesting day of college basketball as well. Stick around for that after this break. Welcome back to ESPN Saturday Primetime, presented by John Deere. Armando Bacot on his way, it looks like, to another double-double. He's got 12 points already. He's got 7 rebounds, a couple of assists in this game as well. And Jeremy Roach, who did not leave the floor in the first half for Duke, he leads the Blue Devils with 10 points. Also added 5 rebounds in the first 20 minutes. This is all a part of our ESPN Sonic Blockbuster. A 1-point lead for Duke going to the second half. Welcome back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis. All of the numbers, Jay, remarkably close in this half with one glaring exception.
Yeah, and that's transition points. You know, North Carolina is 16-0 deficit against Duke in transition points. And when North Carolina took a questionable shot, when they gave up a defensive rebound to Duke, they were able to take it the other way and play ahead of the North Carolina defense. And North Carolina's got to do a better job of having their offense help their defense, because Duke has gotten too many runouts. And Tyrese Proctor in the first half was outstanding. He had 9 points, 3 assists, 2 steals in that first half. But really for North Carolina, with R.J. Davis back on the floor, that gives Carolina an additional decision maker. And they've got to continue to attack the paint, get to the basket, get to the foul line.
Tonight's first half stats are brought to you by IHOP. Tyrese Proctor with some very good minutes for Duke in the second half of the first half. R.J. Davis sat for a few minutes with the foul trouble, and we are ready to go here with the start of the second half of our Sonic Blockbuster matchup. Duke here at home in the first of 2 regular season meetings between these two programs, and the Blue Devils with a 1-point lead on the Tar Heels.
And this R.J. Davis-Jeremy Roach matchup is a good one at the 2-guard spot.
Proctor, another floater. This one he leaves it a little bit short.
And Carolina needs to do a better job of grabbing a defensive rebound and getting out in transition. You know, Leaky Black grabbed that rebound, but it was a slow break.
Nance into Bacot. Spins around Lively. And left it just a little bit short, but Leaky Black digs it out, but it'll be a held ball. The possession arrow will keep it with the Heels. Tar Heel coach Hubert Davis had a chance to speak with Holly Rowe during halftime.
Well, Coach, how did your commitment to the glass pay off in that first half, limiting their second chance opportunities?
Well, I thought we did a really good job of boxing them out. As I told you before, you know, they're the best in the conference at getting second chance opportunities. So for us, we got to limit them to 1 shot every possession. I thought we did a good job of that in the first half, and we'll have to do that in the second half.
Fast break points. Most you've given up all year. How'd you say that to your kids?
Well, you know, they've scored half of their points off of transition, and that's off of our turnovers and bad shots. So we clean up the turnovers and the bad shot and continue to try to attack the basket. We get to the free throw line more than anybody in the conference, and we've only been to the free throw line 3 times. My hope is that'll change.
Thanks, Coach.
So, Jay, how does Carolina get to the line more in the second half?
Continue to attack the paint. In the first half, especially Caleb Love, early in the first half, they did a good job of turning the corner off ball screens and getting into the paint, drawing help, and then playing out of it. But they can't just settle for jumpers. I mean, that by Pete Nance should have been a shot fake and a drive. You know, that was a settle over a 7-footer.
Filipowski, 8 points in the first half, now into double figures.
Filipowski has got a ton of game. And when he adds in, he can play down in the post, but he can catch it a step off, face up, or he can turn around, shoot over you.
He's a freshman playing against a 5th-year senior in Pete Nance. Nance for 3. Too strong, and a foul underneath going
on Lively.
Against Lively, yep.
But Filipowski, because he can shoot it, he can catch it a couple steps off the lane. That was a good job by Pete Nance to push him off the lane. But Filipowski's got that shooting touch where that little 12-foot jumper is a really good shot for him, and Pete Nance just had his hands down, didn't discourage the shot.
Bacot a touch. And kicks it back out. Lively defending him well. Love fouled by Proctor.
Proctor just got that left elbow right into the chest of Caleb Love. And then on the ball reversal, Love looking to drive it middle. And that puts a ton of pressure on the defense. Just a simple ball reversal, gave a little fake to his left and then drove it right. And he is primarily a right driver. He can drive it either way, but he's much better driving to his right.
Davis the kick. And the corner 3 for Leaky Black.
That's his spot. If he's going to knock down a perimeter shot, it's going to be from the corner. But that was all because of the action in the middle of the floor that drew help.
Proctor, boy, great pace. And he lays it in. Duke back on top.
He just read the secondary defender, that being Armando Bacot. If Bacot steps up, he dishes it off. If not, he takes it all the way.
He is showing more and more of his skill set week by week. Davis into the chest of Lively. That's the 5th block of the night for Lively.
So long and athletic, can take the bump and still block the shot.
Mitchell leans in and finishes. Duke by 4.
That's Mitchell's first basket. And he got it off the left-hand drive into the middle. Leaky Black not playing his left hand to keep him out of the middle.
The reverse won't go for Bacot.
Boy, a quick move, but Lively bothered it. Lively beat him down the floor.
Yeah, he might have altered as many as he's blocked tonight. Much more of a factor, Derek Lively II, than he was in the first couple of months of the season.
Well, he's healthy now, and he's a really good rim runner and an excellent shot blocker.
Tough angle there for Roach, and it grazes the side of the backboard. Love baseline, floater, too strong.
Just off one side of the floor. You know, Carolina never reversed the ball and put pressure on Duke's defense.
Mitchell driving on Black. And it's down to the heels. Davis needs some help, and he finds Love.
At the switch.
Davis step back over Filipowski. And it's Duke ball.
Derek Lively II has been an impact player in protecting the rim. And Duke's rim protection defense with him in the game and over the last several games has been 15% better. Absorbed the bump, still blocked it with his left hand, and Mark Mitchell with the left hand drive spinning back to the right and getting the bucket against Leaky Black.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by under $2 Craves from Sonic. For a limited time, only at Sonic. Our thanks to Tacoa Cartwright, who is manning the fan cam for us tonight over at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And Tacoa Cartwright he's a freshman here at Duke, and he wants to take your job one day. And Tacoa, why don't you come on up right now?
It's a wonderful opportunity, Tacoa, to rest your voice with some of our verbose play-by-play professionals. If you can get a word in edgewise, come on up.
Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, Holly Rowe, and the Game Day Gang, all with you here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The 260th meeting between Carolina and Duke, or 259th rather, meeting between Carolina and Duke. Carolina leading the all-time series 143-115.
I think Duke's got to look to Kyle Filipowski.
Roach got caught in the air, and fortunate that he was able to kind of bounce it off Bacot out of bounds to retain possession as Puff Johnson comes into the game now for Pete Nance for the Heels.
And now Leaky Black is guarding Kyle Filipowski. And on the perimeter, that's a pretty good matchup for Black, but I think Filipowski can take him down into the post.
It'll be Mitchell over Johnson, and Bacot holds off Lively so that Davis can get the rebound.
Duke switching exchanges between guards. Now that puts Roach on Caleb Love.
Love the kick. Black's hit 1-3 here in the second half. Not this time. And it's Duke ball. Proctor ahead. Filipowski.
And yet another run out for Duke. After a defensive rebound, they are getting run out after run out. That's been the difference in the game.
Largest lead of the night for the Blue Devils. Bacot spins. Lively got him again. And then Bacot had to get rid of it as he was falling out of bounds. It'll be Duke ball.
Derek Lively II has been a presence around the rim, blocking and changing shots. But after this shot by Leaky Black, the rebound bounces out, and a great pass ahead to the sprinting Kyle Filipowski. Boy, Duke's transition offense has been stellar.
Lively has not scored. He's only attempted one shot. but he's been about as impactful as anybody in the game with the 6 blocks. Davis with a burst of speed. Great look. Extra pass to the corner. Black for 3.
Or the second 3, and we talked about that corner. But North Carolina with a little bit of a push, and the ball movement was excellent.
Second assist of the night for Caleb Love.
And Duke starting to spread the floor, and even though Bacot is not coming out to guard Lively, I think they have to look to Filipowski, let him touch it.
Instead, it'll be Mitchell with an and one opportunity.
Mark Mitchell shoots close to 40% from 3, and he is a long, athletic forward. That's a lefty. And this a drive to his right, and Puff Johnson just catching him with the body, and he finishes the play. But that's really good ball movement. The kick out after the penetration into the lane.
And there Ryan Young will take the place of Lively, who gets another huge ovation as he makes his way to the bench.
And Ryan Young, an excellent offensive rebounder that just knows how to play. But you have to think that North Carolina is going to try to take advantage of the rim protection being on the bench and let Armando Bacot touch it and go to work.
Jay, the Tar Heels have just 2 made field goals in the second half. The 2 3-pointers from Leaky Black. Now you can add a 3 from Caleb Love.
Well, Caleb Love needs to be aggressive. And he was left open. That was a rhythm 3, and one that you want to see him take. It's the challenge 3s after just 1 pass that put Carolina's transition defense in a problem. Boy, what a screen by Young.
Roach too strong. Here's Davis.
Give credit to Duke for getting back. It looked like Carolina might be able to take that a little bit quicker down the floor.
Davis the drive. Cut off by the help defense. Grandison.
Black had the 3 but hesitated.
Johnson no. Long rebound to Proctor. And he turns it over. Johnson. Love. Bacot will finish. Carolina back within 1.
And that's the first transition basket for North Carolina. Off the bad pass by Tyrese Proctor, they deflected it and took it the other way.
And timeout, Jon Scheyer and Duke.
This has usually been a staple of North Carolina's offensive attack. Transition. Not a good decision by Tyrese Proctor. That lets North Carolina play ahead of the Duke defense. And an easy lob to Armando Bacot. And Cole Anthony now with the Orlando Magic. He knows a little bit about transition basketball.